Good morning, it's February 20th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. I want to talk today about a picture of Trump with a crown on his head in a fake Time magazine thing that was put up on the White House webpage. Now, it's probably something they shouldn't have done in the White House. Trump himself didn't create that meme. Some young kid in the White House did, and I guess thought it was funny, but liberals have pounced on this like Trump is declaring himself the king. And they take this out of context because they don't understand what was going on. This is part of a battle going on with the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. The governor was instituting a congestion tax of $25 for cars driving into Manhattan. This was approved by the Biden administration, and this week the Trump Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, said we're going to withdraw that approval. And this got into a back and forth between the administration and the governor. And the governor's office made a comment that, we're not subject to a king. Trump is not the king. We haven't been subject to a king for 250 years. So somewhere in between those things, this meme shows up on the White House website. But let's look at what really is going on and why it happened. The governor's tone deaf. If you don't understand why Trump was winning the last election, you haven't looked at the polls. He won with blue-collar votes. And that's who would have to pay this toll tax to come into Manhattan. The governor of New Jersey, a liberal Democrat, Phil Murphy, thanked the Trump administration for blocking it. The city council of Staten Island thanked the president for blocking this, his administration. The blue-collar men and women who have to work in Manhattan but cannot afford to live there would be the ones bearing this extra tax on their commute. And they already pay to cross the George Washington Bridge, which is $8 to $11. So you're talking about $35 just to go to work. This is why Trump won the blue-collar vote, because he's looking out for those men and women who don't have the wealth to live in Manhattan. And let's be honest, to live in Manhattan, the rents are extremely high, property values are extremely high, and so if you have a mid-level job, you can't afford to live there. But to Democrats, they don't seem to care about that anymore. This has become a party of elite people who think they're better educated, therefore they're smarter than everybody else, and they should be afforded extra privileges. So let's block these people who work for us, literally, coming in and driving their cars on our streets because we don't want them. This is the kind of stuff, I see some of this going on in Washington, D.C., where I came from. Before I left, they started having toll roads there. And for instance, on I-66, they made it a toll road inside the Beltway. And it's dynamic pricing. And it could charge you as much as $40 to go into work if traffic was heavy. I was back there last Christmas, and toll roads have exploded, these hot lanes, high occupancy and toll lanes. And they're all over the roads now. 395 going to the city, 66 all the way out to Gainesville. Toll roads all the way down to Stafford on 95. These roads are charging people. So if you can afford to pay the toll, then you can commute faster. And I don't know if that's really a form of government that we should be promoting, where rich people get an advantage that the average working man cannot afford and can't use. You can argue this back and forth, but I'm one who doesn't think that should happen. And I think that's what Trump has tapped into when he captured the blue-collar vote, because he's looking out for the working man and working woman, not these liberal elites who live in ivory towers and say, hey, I should have these special privileges and you should be crowding my street because I'm better than you are. And that's basically what they're saying. Now, Governor Hochul is going to fight this, she says, in court. It's the same city that says we're going to be a sanctuary city, and yesterday Trump passed an executive order that said we're not going to fund benefits to illegal migrants. So states and cities are going to have to, if they want to be sanctuary cities, they're going to have to pick these things up. But, let's put this into context. This was a fight over this congestion tax between the governor of New York, Kathleen Hochul, and the Trump administration. It wasn't him declaring himself the king. It was meant to be a little bit funny. But boy, the liberals pounced on it. They said, oh, look at this, how outrageous this is. He's declaring himself the king. That's not what he's doing. But you ask any working man and woman who has to pay that toll, that extra $25 a day to commute to their job, and ask them what they think. And then for all of you to do this, how about we add $25 a day for you to commute to your job? No matter where it is, you got to pay $25 to the government just to commute to your job. And see if you like that. See if you want to do it. I don't think you will. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.